Welcome back to Lucore Automotive Services. Today I'm working on a 2012 QX56 with the all too familiar timing chain lube guide failure. Basically this thing has codes for timing chains. It had a code for high pressure fuel pump, which I'll grab it and show it to you real quick, which we pulled the high pressure pump out and the high pressure pump lifter. The lifter shows damage, so the lifter drive cam is probably damaged, as well as timing chain damage, which means the lube jets need to be replaced on the front of the engine that actually lubricate the timing chains. It's pretty complicated. This thing is a quad cam nightmare of an engine. These things used are $9,000 or $10,000, and then you buy a used engine and you still have to put all this stuff into it. So this truck's got about 200,000 miles on it. Customer brought it to us from out of state, actually, and we looked it over. The engine actually runs pretty good, and it doesn't have cat codes for, which is actually surprising because most of these do end up needing cats, about 150 to 200,000 miles. But this one doesn't appear to need that yet. So we're gonna strip the nose off this thing and tear down the front of the engine, and hopefully we don't find any abnormal debris in the oil pan. There's some pressure kicks on, right on the fuel. And we'll take it apart, hopefully not find anything bad, put it back together, and who knows, maybe we'll get another 200,000 miles on this truck. Stick around. This is going to take a minute. I'm going to strip the whole front end down so that the front of the engine's exposed. And then I'll get right back at you. I got to pull the radiator, the condenser, cooling fan, and basically everything off the front of the engine. Keep plugging away. It's a big job. And I'm getting close to finding the engine in the depths of the nose of this thing. Got to drain my radiator coolant and pull my power steering cooler loose. We'll be ready to pull that out of there. Oh, shit. Made a mess. Way to go. Made a big mess. Let's see.
Like me, you know how many times I put a trough down, I still miss it.
Still miss it? This is so much easier with the nose off of this. The last one of these I did, I couldn't get the bumper off, so it's going to be a lot easier. Of course, I can't get the power steering hoses off right now, but I will find a solution for that. Probably going to have to heat them up with a heat gun. Did you go to the doctor and get that looked at?
No.
Do I need to drill it?
That's what I was thinking.
Do we need to poke it?
That's what I was going to do to it. My wife's like, go to the doctor. I'm like, no, I'm going to poke a needle in there.
Oh.
But I could feel like a little shard of a bone there, like crunching around. But it's like, but it goes clear up to there. But it's like my arm ain't fucking hurting, you know. I mean, it's not hurting, but it's
that doesn't hurt?
No.
You're crazy.
It's like, oh wow. I was thinking that the blood will eventually just dissipate into my arm, but my wife's like, you better go get that looked at.
You might want to have the
There
doctor.
was like a big knot right there.
You might want to have the doctor look at that. That's the biggest zit I've ever seen.
And I was thinking, well, at first I thought, man, that's like a cyst or something, but I was like, no, it came on there within
maybe
like,
it's a tumor.
it came on there within like 3 days of me falling. It's like, okay.
Wow. That's wild. stab myself. This is not the part of this job that I thought was going to fight me. That's the trick. Just make sure you get it really hot and grab it with your bare hand. Oh my Lord. It started finally. Oh. Golly. Ouch. I just pulled the fingernail back from the skin on that one too. That was dumb. Oh, the things we do to fix your cars for you. That looks like oil cooler. Box, I believe. Everything I need to get off. Can you grab the fan shroud that you come out with it? It's going to come out with it. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, there's the engine.
You just didn't have that access like that. There was clearly a bar. And
Mine was not done like this because the bolts up here and the bolts up there would not come out, so I couldn't get the bumper off of mine.
okay,
This makes it way easier
I can
because
imagine.
I can sit in a chair and do the rest of it. Let this bleed all over the place over here. So we're doing all this because of this guy. Hey, I can change the air filter now.
Place truck into service position.
Service mode. This is service engine mode.
Something I've never seen in my life. As I'm coming through the Costco parking lot, there is a Dublin PD sitting in the parking lot, watching people walk out of Costco.
Really?
And if they get into a vehicle that is sitting in a handicapped parking spot, and they don't have a limp or an obvious impairment, and their vehicle doesn't have a plate or a placard from it, he is handing them a ticket. I've never seen that in my life. As I'm walking through the parking lot, he walked up some older Indian gentleman who didn't have a license plate, didn't have anything hanging. The guy was trying to explain to him that he was hard of hearing, and he's like, that doesn't matter. You have to get your qualification that in fact you're allowed to park in a handicapped parking spot. Hand the guy a ticket.
I get it.
Like, I mean, how often do you see people just,
I'll just swing in here real quick. Yeah, I'll be in here quick.
Yeah.
I'll be gone soon enough. Nobody will know.
Bravo, sir.
I think
Bravo.
I've parked in a handicapped spot twice in my life. And that was back in '90 when I had my knee surgery. My first knee surgery. Getting ready to have my fourth knee surgery. Find out here soon enough about that. I'm just falling apart, I tell you. Yes, I found out for New Year's that I don't have an ACL in my right knee again. Well, let's get a chair. My knees hurt. Well, this is the easy way to do a serpentine belt on this car. Now you know the belt route. Lots of stuff to come off the front of this engine. This is going to take a bit, so I'm just going to let this roll, and I don't know, we may time lapse it or cut a whole bunch of it out because this is a lot of work. I know what hose I'm going to pull when I'm doing a coolant service on this truck in the future. So I'm to the point where I can pull alternator, power steering pump bracket, pull both my oil coolers off, and then I can pull my phase actuator housings and my front cover. Then I have to pull everything out of the bottom, which is the front axle and the rack and pinion oil pan. Oh, it doesn't have a lock nut on the back? Really? You guys are just cruel. Oh, it appears that somebody stripped that bolt out. I will put a alternator on it with a 1/2-inch impact. It's pumping. Well, that's a unique challenge. Let's see if we can get it to pull. This is one of those situations where cross threads are not better than threads. So that bolt galled going in and destroyed the threads, and now it's got a bungle mess of aluminum on the threads. And so it's just spinning. It's disappointing. So I need to get it off so that I can get that off. Does it make you go, on the socket. All right, there's our timing cover. Figure out how to. I'm having a hard time getting these camera sensors to disconnect, so I'm just going to pop them loose and leave them on the harness because that's less work. Let's remove our phase actuator covers. I'm going to go ahead and pull these two covers off, which will expose my cam phasers, and then I'm going to pull my front cover. A couple bolts down here I got to take off yet, but drop this oil cooler off, which is going to make a huge mess. Two O-rings in there, and that frees up my access to 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts from the bottom of the oil pan into the timing cover. And I don't remember if I can get the timing cover off with the oil pan on or not. I think I can, but I can't get past the oil pump with the oil pan on, which is why we have to pull the oil pan. Which means after I get the front undressed here, we're going to put it up in the air. I'm going to drop the front differential and the rack and pinion out of the bottom and then drop the oil pan out of it. So this is not a job for the faint of heart. Feels like it did. Well, I would say that chain's stretched. Fairly clean inside. There's 2 seals here. Sorry, there's 3 seals there. There's an O-ring right there that you have to remember to put in when you do this job. Ding, fries are done. O-ring right there. Gotta be replaced. So bolts. One more bolt there, and then there's the 2 hidden bolts. One there, one there. Those are the ones that people don't know are there, and then they break the case trying to get it off. That's a bad day for a mechanic when he breaks a timing cover on one of these, because they are expensive. I was lucky when I was doing my first one of these and I caught those. But I have seen those get broken by people. So I chose to pull the oil pan off because it has to come off to get the oil pump off. And I'm trying to remember if there's alignment dowels. I don't think there are, but with it off, it'll be I'll be more confident pulling the front cover without causing problems. Pull our knuckles loose so that we can get our half shafts out and drop our front diff down. doesn't scare any oil other than it's really dark. Aww. Made me redo the alignment too because you put the bolts in the wrong way. We just had that differential out at some point in time. I'm letting the air bleed down. I have a pressure valve I got to change on the air compressor. So while it bleeds off, I figured I'd go ahead and get this front differential pulled, which I just did a minute ago. I got to pull this pan extension off, the sump off, and I need to remove the rack. Once I have the rack out of the way, I can pull the oil pan off. And this has to be off because there's a hidden bolt right up in here that you have to have the sump off to do. And then I think there's a pickup that you have to remove too. We'll figure that out as we go. Well, as I recall, the last one of these I did, I bent the heck out of getting it off because the glue they use on these are no joke. This engine is all, well, other than the head gaskets, it's all liquid RTV gasket. Yeah, it's gonna be a bear. Yikes, it's going everywhere. Nice sway bar bushing. That's high quality stuff. We'll see if he wants us to replace those while we're in here. There we go. Sometimes the things we do are a little medieval to get these things apart. Driving sleeves into engine blocks with a sledgehammer. Most customers don't like seeing that part. Looks like part of a guide. A couple parts of a guide. It's just some glue. That's a little concerning. I think that's a piece of a guide as well. Looks like we're going to find some damaged guides in here. There's the hidden guy, hide and seek. Has to come out, so I gotta do tie rod ends, get my input shaft off. Oh, just stuff all over me. This might be the second timing set that this truck has received, considering the debris I found in the pan. You got an O-ring here, and you got an O-ring on the back side of that as well. Not too horrible. The edges of the fuel pressure pump, the high pressure fuel pump, the The edges of it are sharp, so we're going to have to get one of those. It's another $600. There's one of our broken guides. So you can see the oil pump's right here, and that's why you have to drop the pan to do this service, because you have to get the sump off the bottom of the oil pan, because there's a seal that goes in between this and the oil pan, and it has to come straight off because it's crank driven. So two items interfere. You can see how close these are. That's really tight. When the new chain's on, there'll be a really big gap there, because that chain is so stretched. The timing components are out of time, causing the timing codes that are in this thing, and that's why we're doing this. You can see the gap here on this side. That's what this side should be. There's a little oil sprayer down in here, which we'll uncover when we get the oil pump off, and it gets plugged with schmutz, and it ends up not oiling the chain as it needs to be, which wears the chain out and it stretches. So that's the failure. The engine's pretty clean. There's no signs of metal or debris in the pan, so I'm not afraid to put this thing back together, even though it did start eating the pump lifter, which this is the pump lifter, and you can see how it's dished out. Most guys that have these vehicles and plan on keeping them are changing this lifter puck out every 50,000 miles, which does two things. It allows you to know if your puck is starting to wear, because if your puck is starting to wear, you're more than likely going to need a chain. But if you put a new puck in and everything looks good, then you can feel pretty confident you're going to make it another 50,000 miles, and then you do another puck, and then hopefully it's in good shape, and you put a new one in it, go another 50,000 miles. And change your oil regularly. Yay, I win! So, I think I'm going to go home on that note. We're going to call this Finding the Timing Chain, apparently. You can see my oil pump. And what a mess, huh? Super tight chain gap, normal chain gap, well, more normal. It's out quite a bit. It's probably out. It's probably out quite a bit, too. A little bit. We'll see. We'll see when we put the new ones in. We'll see what the gaps look like, but you'll definitely notice a difference there. I think it's 5/10s, and the oil pump comes off. Here's our oil lubrication bar and our other oil lubrication bar. They are different from one another. I think we'll probably call it quits here. This is going to be probably just getting to the timing chain. I'll probably do the timing set tomorrow and start reassembly. I'd like to have this out of here in the next couple of days. So lots to do. Got a lot done. Got a lot of other stuff done. So thanks for coming along for the ride on the cars we work on here at Lucore Automotive Services in Plain City, Ohio. This one actually came to us from out of state. Thanks to the wonderful world of YouTube. He saw the other video that we did on one of these a year or so ago, and he said, "Hey, this guy's looks like he knows what he's doing, so he's going to give us a shot." And I appreciate that. So thank you guys for watching. Click like, subscribe, leave us a comment below, and tell us what you think about these Infiniti QX56s, because a lot of people don't like them because of this exact problem. But they are fixable, and they actually ride and drive really nice. They get horrible gas mileage, but they drive really nice.